If you saw the owners of these 10 businesses on the street, you'd probably feel sorry for them. Dusty clothes, no fancy office, zero rich guy energy. But why we are feeling sorry for them? They are quietly building bank balances that would shock you. Now in Africa, there is one thing. Real wealth doesn't always wear a suit. Now I want you to sit back. Because number one is a business almost everyone underestimates. But the number behind it will completely change how you see small businesses. Before we jump in, this channel is created for people like you. People who don't just want to build wealth. You want to build wealth that you leave behind for those coming after you. If that's who you are, I want you to subscribe to this channel and then tell me in the comments what business you want me to talk about next. Now let's jump in and start with number 10. Local egg supply and poultry manure trading. This sounds like a joke. Chicken droppings. People laugh at this one until they find out crop farmers are paying real money for it because it's one of the cheapest, most effective organic fertilizers around. Nobody wants to say, I sell poultry manure for a living. It smells, it's messy, it's not exactly a flex. But the person doing it isn't thinking about that. They are thinking about the farmer 3 streets over who needs bags of it every planting season and keeps coming back. You don't even need your own poultry farm. Partner with existing farms. Buy the droppings cheap. Bag them. Resell to crop farmers and agro dealers. Once you capture that, the next thing you want to do is to add basic egg supply to local shops, and you've got 2 income streams from one relationship. With less than $200 you can start this. It's not glamorous, but steady and growing fast as more farmers go organic. Write that number down somewhere for a second. Under $200 to turn literal waste into a repeat income stream. That's basically the whole theme of this particular business. If you think that one is surprising, wait until you see what's quietly happening with actual garbage at number 4. But before then, let's go to number 9. Frozen foods and meat trading. Frozen foods and meat trading isn't seen as broke exactly. It's just underestimated. People picture a single freezer and some chicken. Small, local, forgettable. But the ones actually making money aren't doing daily retail. They are buying in bulk when prices drop, storing it, and selling when demand and prices climb back up. That timing is where the real profit hides, not the small markup on a bag of chicken. Now to start, you need a chest freezer, stable power, and your first bulk purchase. Most people stop there and just retail out of the freezer for years, making small daily profit. But the ones actually building wealth from this treat it like a mini commodities trade. They track the price cycles the way a stockbroker tracks a chart. Buy heavy on the dip and let demand catch up to their stock. Scale it by moving from one single freezer retail into supplying hotels, restaurants and event caterers directly. That's when it stops being a side hustle and becomes a distribution business. From here now, let's jump to number 8. Event shares, canopy and equipment rental. You've seen these guys. They show up at weddings and burials, set up chairs and canopies and vanish once the event ends. Most people assume they are just the laborers, but the person who owns the equipment, it's a different story entirely. You are not being paid for labor anymore. You are being paid for access. Here's the thing in most African communities. You will find an event happening almost every single weekend. The barrier is equipment cost. A decent starter runs $650 to $1,000 depending on quality and quantity. But here's what most people miss. That same set of chairs gets rented out again and again for years with almost no extra cost. It's not a one-time sale. It's a repeating asset. From here now, let's go to number 7. Tricycle or keke fleet ownership. Let's be clear before we go further. I'm not talking about driving a keke yourself all day in traffic. I'm talking about owning it and having someone else drive it for you. That one distinction changes everything. People underestimate this one because they only see the driver sweating, stuck in traffic, and shouting for passengers. Nobody sees the owner at home collecting a fixed daily return from 3, 5 or 10 of those same tricycles. One keke runs $3,000 to $4,000 depending on the brand, and a well-managed one can pay for itself in 12 to 18 months. The real challenge isn't in buying it, it's managing it. Drivers underreport earnings, vehicles get damaged, and without a system, owners directly bleed money every month. Here's the good news. I'm actually building a tracking system with a friend right now in Nigeria to solve exactly this problem, and we're already running it in Abuja, Adamawa, Kaduna, and Jos. You get real accountability so the income stays consistent instead of leaking out. Drop a comment if you want a full breakdown video on that, or if you are interested in what we are doing. The next, number 6, is second-hand clothes, better known as Okrika or Tokumbo. Bend down select. This one's personal. I used to think Okrika was pure survival. Someone bent over a bale in the sun, sorting used clothes. It looked like struggle, not business. Then my sister got into it, and within 12 months, her numbers completely shattered my buyers. She specifically buys first-grade bales, the highest tier, barely worn, sometimes practically new. And instead of spreading on a mat on the roadside, she supplies boutiques directly in Abuja. The boutiques mark those pieces up and sell them as premium fashion. She earns steady margins per bale, moving multiple bales consistently. That's the shift that changed everything for me. It's not about selling cheap clothes cheap. It's about knowing which grade to buy and who to sell to. A first-grade bale runs $350 to $450, depending on the category. Watching someone close to me build these in real time is honestly why this list exists in the first place. Now let's go to the next, which is also close home. Business number 5, charcoal wholesale and urban distribution. Now I know someone again personally who fell into this almost by accident. He lost his job, the bills piled up, and at one point, he was on the verge of being thrown out of his house over unpaid rent. A mutual helped him raise a small amount of capital to start buying and reselling charcoal in bulk. Charcoal gets written off as poor man's fuel, something rural, outdated, for people who can't afford gas. But with fuel and cooking gas prices climbing, more urban households and even small food businesses are quietly switching back. The demand didn't disappear, it just moved into the cities that assumed they'd outgrown it. He bought directly from producers in bulk at a low price, transported it, and resold it in urban centers at a much higher markup. Today, that same man owns his house. Not because charcoal is glamorous, because he understood one simple idea. Buy where it's cheap, sell where it's needed. Do it consistently. You can start this with around $200 for transport and your first bulk purchase. Now we've reached the one I told you to wait for. Number 4. Waste collection services. Nobody grows up dreaming of collecting other people's trash. It's arguably the most looked down on business on this entire list, which is exactly why the money in it catches people off guard. Private waste collection has quietly become a real business in cities where government collection is unreliable or non-existent. Residential and businesses pay a consistent monthly fee just to have someone reliably haul it away because the alternative is worse. Start small, a tricycle or small truck, basic tools, and agreements with a handful of streets or estates for a few $100s. The real money is in scaling into service contracts with estates, schools, and small businesses, collecting a predictable monthly fee from dozens of clients instead of chasing one-off jobs. Do the math for a second. 50 clients paying a small monthly fee each is a guaranteed income base before you've even picked up a single bag that day. Unglamorous, but the demand never stops because waste never stops. Now we're down to the final 3, and if you're still here, it means you are extremely serious about becoming wealthy. So I want you to comment, businesses that look broke. Let me know you as we move down to number 3, scrap metal collection and recycling. This might have the strongest broke image on the whole list. Picture it, someone pushing a rusty, noisy cart, picking through scrap heaps, piece by piece. Looks like the definition of struggle. But to a recycling plant, that's raw industrial material. Steel, aluminium, copper. Recycling companies and exporters buy it, process it, and resell it. And prices for aluminium and copper in particular can be surprisingly strong. Someone who knows which metals are worth the most and builds relationship with the right buyers turns street-level hustle into a real supply business. I'm talking about a federal lawmaker in Nigeria who quietly made his wealth from this business. Start with nothing more than a cart and your own labor, next to zero cost beyond transport. The real jump starts when you stop collecting yourself and start buying from smaller collectors, aggregating bigger volumes, and selling wholesale straight to recycling plants or exporters. Collector to aggregator, that's where the serious money shows up. Because you are no longer paid per piece of scrap, you are being paid per truckload. Let's go to number 2. Bulk palm oil trading, seasonal buying and storage. Now the numbers get bigger. Palm oil trading looks simple. Buy oil, sell oil. But the people making real money aren't doing daily retail. They are playing a seasonal game. Prices drop during peak harvest because supply is high. The traders who understand this buy in bulk during that low price window, store it properly and hold it until the off-season when prices climb because supply tightens. That one decision, buy low in season, sell high out of season, is the entire business model. It takes more capital than most items on this list, often starting from over $500 depending on volume, plus proper storage to prevent spoilage. Not a business for someone who needs cash next week, but for someone with patience to hold inventory for a few months. The seasonal gap alone can outperform a lot of respectable businesses. And here's number 1 now. We've reached the peak of it all. Flour, rice, and grain trading. Walk past someone selling bags of rice at a local market, and it's easy to assume it's a small low-income hustle. That assumption is exactly what this whole list has been building towards breaking. Grains get eaten every single day, in every household, regardless of income. That non-negotiable demand is what makes this business so powerful. The traders who move from small retail into bulk wholesale, buying directly from mills, farmers or large distributors, often supply retailers, restaurants, schools, and caterers, are running one of the most consistently profitable trades on this entire list. Capital requirement of course is higher, often climbing to over $1,000 for serious wholesale volume. But so is the ceiling. A luxury boutique can go weeks without a single customer in a bad economy. A grain trader makes serious sales every single day. It looks like a woman with a few bags of rice on a wooden table. At wholesale level, it's one of the quietest, most lucrative trades running across African markets today. So there you have it. 10 businesses that look broke on the surface, but are quietly making people rich underneath. The pattern across all of them is the same. The person doing the work is rarely the one who looks wealthy. The wealth stays invisible until you understand how the business actually operates. Buy where it's cheap, sell where it's needed, own the asset instead of just the labor, and stay consistent long enough for the numbers to compound. None of these 10 businesses requires a degree, a connection, or starting capital in the tens of thousands. What they require is the willingness to do something that doesn't look impressive at first glance. If this opened your eyes, even just a little, tell me in the comments, which one surprised you the most? And if you want more breakdown like this, real businesses, real numbers, real ways to start, make sure you are subscribed, because that's exactly what we do here, every single week. And again, if you want me to discuss any business, let me know. I make the research, you get the output.